video, Human Anatomy. And with your host, Jagan, we're gonna learn about the digestive system. Today's my favorite day because we're learning about the digestive system and I'm making this video about the digestive system. Woohoo! Alright, let's begin. So what is the digestive system? Well, the digestive system is an organ system, which is a system comprising of organs that work together, comprising of several organs that mechanically and chemically, which means movement like the mouth, and chemically like saliva, break down food to feed hungry cells. Basically, they break down food to support cells with their smaller parts, because cells need also energy to live. So the digestive system does that. It breaks down food just for cells to eat. Alright, so what are we talking about here? So, digestive system has two parts, the alimentary canal and the accessory organs. Let's talk about the alimentary canal. The alimentary canal is the path from the mouth to nose, the whole tube, the whole vacuum, the whole digestive system, except the accessory organs. The accessory organs are organs that do not make direct contact but are still part of the digestive system because they release juices into the duodenum to help with the digestive system. Now then, let's get on. So there are 4 steps for digestion. Number 1, indigestion or ingestion. Number 2, digestion. Number 3, absorption. And number 4, excretion. So let's talk about these 4. Number 1, ingestion. You bring food to your mouth. You bring food to your digestive system. You have to bring it. And number 2, digestion. Mechanically and chemically, you break down. Break it down into smaller parts. You break it down and you break the food down into smaller parts that can be fit for your cells. And then absorption, which takes place in the small intestine. So in there, the small intestine absorbs the nutrients that your cells need for energy. It takes around the body and delivers to each every cell in the human body regions. And finally, excretion, which is it's basically like the garbage truck hour of the day. So, excretion means you just take the waste out of the body, the process of taking undigested waste out of the body. Alright then, let's get down the hatch. So, first, fast mode, please. Now, I'm gonna label the parts. Alright, so let's get down the hatch. First step. So, why am I drawing the nasal cavity here? What am I? So, how silly am I? You may be thinking, what? Because I'm drawing the nasal cavity, which is a part of the nose and the respiratory system. So if you want to know more about the respiratory system, check out my video. But here, I also drew the mouth and the nose. But why? Because they're both connected, and it's important to discuss the relationships of them so we can discuss about one more useful tip. Starts with a juicy apple. The brain tells your salivary glands next to your mouth to secrete saliva. I'm already getting tasted by the banana. I'm drooling. Then, once the apple pops in your mouth, the teeth start grinding. The tongue starts moving it around so that it could reach every layer of the teeth, incisors, canines, molars, premolars, everything. Then on the back of the throat, I think you notice this when you look in the mirror, there's a little thing that dangles. I hope you can see it now. This is called the uvula. It restricts liquids from getting into the nose. And then your tongue moves to the back of the throat and down it goes. But wait, stop! There are two! There's a fork in the road. Which way should the food go to? The stomach or the lungs? Now this is tricky. Where do you think the food should go? Of course, the stomach. Too easy. But who decides? Who's the police officer that decides which way it should go? The epiglottis. The epiglottis is like a flap that makes way to that closes the windpipe and makes food go to the stomach instead of the windpipe. Because if food goes into the windpipe, choking is really bad. So I'm glad the epiglottis is there inside our bodies. So that is chapter 1, down the hatch. Fast motion, please. Now, I drew like cut-up section to show to not show the intestines, cause we're talking about number 2, acid bath. I know, Jagan, really good subtitle. Now, we move into the esophagus, the food pipe. Now, what is this? We see a muscle movement. The walls are closing in and on at the food. That's called peristalsis. It makes food move until the esophageal sphincter. It's like a valve. Have you ever heard of valves like in the heart? If you want to check out more of the valves in the heart, check out the circulatory system video. Wow. So the sphincter opens due to the brain's instructions and sensitivity of the food. Then it plops into the stomach. Deep inside the stomach, there are hydrochloric acids. Those hydrochloric acids burn down the food and mix it into a small gooey liquid called chyme or chyme. You could call it either both. I like to call it chyme. So let's go with chyme. The hydrochloric acids, they're so strong that they could dissolve even metal. Even metal. You see how strong our body is? Let me tell you a few more facts about the stomach. The stomach is covered with mucus or snot, the type of liquid that is in the nose. Without snot, the acid might digest the stomach itself, and that would be really, really dangerous. And next, the stomach is shaped like a J bag, and it has 2 sphincters, one esophageal sphincter, and 2, we'll talk about that later. And the food, which is a bolus right now after it gone into the stomach, is now digested for about 1 hour before leaving into the pyloric sphincter, then into the duodenum. So after the duodenum, we have 3 accessory organs that take part here. Wow! Accessory organs already. The liver, which is the second largest organ in the body, number 1 being the skin. So that leaves it in first place for internal organs in the body. Gallbladder and pancreas, which is part of 2 systems. Let's first talk about the liver. L-I-V-E-R, liver. So what is the liver? The liver does more than 500 tasks in your body. You should be very grateful to the liver, because the liver takes out germs, makes new blood cells from recycling bloods, and does even more. And in this case, for the digestive system, even after all the hydrochloric acid, the stomach still needs a little help. So, inside the duodenum, the first part of the small intestine, the liver makes a chemical called bile. Bile is then stored in the gallbladder. It stores extra bile and then it inserts into the duodenum where food waits to be digested by the bile. Now there's also the pancreas. The pancreas, let me put a little smiley there. The pancreas is an organ which is part of two systems. Number one being the digestive system, and number two being the endocrine system. So it also helps a little with the blood. Oh, I see a bee. Hello, little bee. So the pancreas, as I was saying, the pancreas is a very important organ for your body. For one, the pancreas makes insulin. And it also makes a digestive chemical. Ink ran out. It uses... Come on! Only one I have left. Here goes nothing. Yes! So the pancreas connects its chemical by the pancreatic duct and it moves into the chyme. When the chyme is being fully digested it moves on to its next interview. Fast motion, please. Resume. Now, what should I call this? Number 3. Goodness obtained. Great name. As you can see now, we're moving into the small intestine from the stomach to the small intestine. Now, what is the small intestine's job? First, I'll tell you what. Number 1 that you have to know, there are 3 parts for the small intestine. The duodenum, which we talked about, makes food digested in bile and other digestive juices. Number 2, the jejunum, which is the largest part. It absorbs most of the nutrients from the food. And the ileum, which is a medium part, and it's the last part of the small intestine. Another fact I want to show you is if the small intestine wasn't coiled up and twisted around in your belly, then it would be about 22 meters long. That's more than 4 adult men standing on top of each other. Cool, right? But luckily for us, it's coiled up and twisted around in your belly. Now, the duodenum is done. Now the jejunum. The jejunum is where there are tiny, actually all over the small intestine, since they're all over the small intestine, they're tissues. But there are microscopic, hairs called villi. Inside the villi are capillaries, and when the nutrients catch on, they get absorbed into the blood and all around the body. Isn't that cool? Now, after the villi, we go to number 4. Fast motion, please. I think those are just kids, my neighbors. Uh-oh. All right, number 4. No. The last and final section of the digestive system, finally, that just means we're not done talking about the digestive system yet. Number 4, a happy ending. So, first we start at the large intestine, actually the iliac valve. After the small intestine was wiggly, squiggly lines, it finally comes to a straight valve that moves food onward through the large intestine. Now there are several parts to the colon. One is the appendix. It's a worm-shaped thing at the bottom. No, scientists are still trying to figure out what it's for, but they think it's to store extra bacteria in case invading germs are here. And just to let you know, the bacteria I mentioned about stored in the appendix are not bad bacteria. In fact, they help you. Millions of bacteria from all over human body live in the large intestine. Isn't that cool? The large intestine houses millions of bacteria which digest even more. Can you believe it, how small they make it? They don't want to waste anything, except the waste. So the large intestine, after the appendix, it doesn't really go there. They start with the cecum, then, I forgot to draw one thing, the perineum. Now, after the appendix cecum, it starts pushing itself ascending colon. Then it takes a turn to the transverse colon, and through all that time takes 24 hours. Even more than 24 hours just to get through the small tube. And by the way, why is the large intestine called large intestine when it is only 5 meters and the small intestine is 22 meters? Because the walls of the large intestine are much, much bigger than the small intestines. So we call it the large intestine. Now, as I was saying, it goes through the transverse colon, then takes a turn to the descending colon, finally the S-shaped segment colon, and to here. I'll explain it later. So here, all through the way, there is water. Water. We need water. So the large intestine's job, we certainly need a large intestine. Otherwise, we would have runny water, runny poop. Because the large intestine absorbs water from the food, from the now left feces or poop. I'm just gonna start calling it feces. So the more and more faster it goes, the more and more water it sucks, and the harder the feces gets. And soon it reaches to the rectum, which is our final stop. But the large intestine's journey is not over. What happens when we drink water? Does it go through the same path? So in our urinary system video, the kidneys clean water out of the blood and bring it to the bladder. But they seem to drink a lot of water. Is it because the kidneys directly suck up water from the mouth? Nope. After all the stomach intestines, the large intestine sees the water. It's like, water! So it sucks up their water and directly takes it in the blood. And that's where the kidneys come in, filtering the accessory water from the blood. Now that's it. Now on to the real happy ending. The rectum is a really important part. It stores all our feces or poop. Then the anus, otherwise called the anal sphincter, when it gets a message from the brain saying, I need to go to the bathroom, hurry up. The anus releases the sphincter and the feces, or the waste, not needed waste, goes out of the body. And that is the end of our digestive system video. But, no, the video's not over yet. Sometimes here, there can also go wrong, sadly. colon problems like diarrhea and farting, for example, farting, the bacteria produce gas while they're digesting, and that gas travels to the rectum and it goes out as a loud honk. And diarrhea is when your large intestine doesn't work because of the germs. And then it doesn't suck up that much water, so you get more feces than you need to, and you get diarrhea. But those can all go away if you eat healthy foods, like my banana. Fruits, vegetables, carbohydrates, dairies, they're all very healthy foods. But the only thing you should avoid is drinking like soda or eating too much candy. Once in a while is okay, but they can cause a lot of problems if you drink or eat too much of them. And also, one more thing. Drink lots of water, especially now in Arizona, it's summer. It's very healthy for you to drink lots and lots and lots and lots of water to help you keep hydrated. So, that's the end of our digestive system video. Now, finally, I can eat my banana. Where's my banana?
Na 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 na.
Heidi, you took my banana!